Unit 5 is on documentation in apparel quality management. This unit is about the documents, the various documents, reports and manuals that are followed in the apparel manufacturing industries to improve the quality of their products. This unit comprises of 4 modules. Module 1 talks about the quality manual of an apparel manufacturing firm. What do they do through this quality manual? Module 2 is on quality checkpoints that need to be considered for certain products. Module 3 is on inspection reports and specification sheets, and Module 4 is an example of quality audit report of a manufacturing factory, of a apparel manufacturing industry. By the end of this unit, students will be able to examine quality procedures, describe quality checkpoints in the garment manufacturing process, review inspection formats, explain the quality audit report and the significance of quality manual. Quality manual of XYZ Exports Private Limited. Quality manual is a detailed set of specifications and requirements and process guidelines by an apparel manufacturing company. An apparel manufacturing company's quality policy. We'll talk about quality policy first. XYZ Exports Limited is committed to comply with requirements and continuously improve the quality management system and supply high quality garments on time to enhance customer satisfaction through training and involvement of employees. Quality objectives of XYZ Exports Private Limited. The first objective is to increase the production from the existing level every year. Continuous improvement in terms of productivity, waste elimination and housekeeping. To make employees multi-skilled through training and development. To maintain and improve work order throughput time. To reduce seconds percentage. Quality checkpoints. This you can see as a flow chart. What are the various quality checkpoints required in XYZ shirt company for different processes or stages of manufacturing of shirt. Quality procedures. The first procedure is fabric inspection. No sooner fabric is in-house, the fabric inspection report, shrinkage report, and 100% shade bands should be submitted within 48 hours. Fabric is to be cut only after the above reports are submitted and only if they are approved for bulk production. 100% of the fabric is to be inspected on a 4-point system, and if the fabric is in doubt, further 100% should be inspected. While submitting the fabric inspection reports, all trim inspection reports should be submitted too. If fabric is cut without being inspected, total responsibility will be on this department, as it is a violation of a critical aspect. Fabric inspection on 4-point system. The purpose is to decide acceptance or rejections of fabric roll for wovens. The activity and requirement can be seen in the form of table on the screen. Now the record is fabric inspection report with classification and penalty points, as you can see on the screen. The important points to be considered are fault length to be measured in warp or weft. Length of the fault determines the fault length direction. Considering the similar length of warp and weft, heaviest penalty fault will determine the direction of the fault. Overlapping of two or more faults leads to application the faults leads to application of the faults that have higher penalty. 3 feet distance from the inspection table is required for the inspection. Minimum fault sizes are shown on the Sears fabric defect scale. This can be seen on the screen as knots or slubs. Standards for passing fabric. Average index for inspected rolls not to exceed 28 points out of 100 square yard. Maximum index for any roll not to exceed is 40 points per 100 square yard. 100% shade bands. If the style is a wash garment, before and after wash blankets should be submitted, covering all rolls, and it has to be attached in the shade continuity card. 100% shade band covering all rolls and all colors pertaining to a certain style or consignment should be made and approved prior to cutting off bulk fabric. Process. No sooner the fabric is in-house, the quality assurance department must ensure that they get the panels representing all rolls within 6 hours from stores. Cut 6 inches from end of each roll. Overlock and join all panels in correct grain line direction to be in a blanket form. If the style is a non-wash program, 2 sets should be prepared. If the style consists of a certain wash, then 4 blankets should be prepared. 2 blankets non-washed and 2 blankets with the exact approved wash of the style. Once the shade bands are ready, dye lot or color segregation has to be done. If the shade band consists of 2 to 3 different shades, such shades should be segregated into families marked A, B, C, etc. A copy of the segregation of shades should be handed over to the stores, cutting and merchandising and production departments. Stores will issue and the cutting or production will proceed as per the segregated shades without getting mixed. Shrinkage report. 100% shrinkage report should be submitted for all styles, and the washing shrinkage has to be performed as per the wash type required for the bulk. Trim inspection report. All trims being in-house should be inspected and the reports submitted accordingly. Trims inspection. The purpose is to check defects and to decide acceptance, rejection of trims. The scope is interlining, collarbone, label, button, packing materials, swing ticket, poly bag, product box. The activity and requirement can be seen on the screen. Selection of all trims for the inspection to be as per sampling plan. Activity and requirement can be seen on the screen. Size set. Bulk production cannot be started without the Quality Assurance Department approving the size set for each new style. Once the size set is approved, the pattern should be checked and authorized by this department for utilization. Pre-production meeting. A pre-production meeting should be organized and conducted prior to bulk production, including buyer's representative, merchandiser, production manager, and all sectional heads, supervisors, and quality checkers involved with the particular style. No production is to start without a pre-production meeting and all points to be discussed and documented in the pre-production meeting format. The QA manager or the technical manager should write down the minutes and file the pre-production meeting comments in the style file. Technical, quality, packing, washing, shipping, etc. Pilot run. Once the production submits the pilot run, bulk production should be approved based on the performance of this cut. If it is not satisfactory, a new pilot run should be made. Mock-ups preparation. After the handover meeting of the style to the production floor, the style requirements as discussed in the meeting should be converted into the visual standards and displayed at all relevant workstations as guide for the work. Test to failure. Purpose: testing mock-up pieces to demonstrate consistency in fabric, threads, machinery. The test pieces are pulled with a force until they are destroyed, establishing the kilograms at which they break apart. Results details are recorded as Z factor. Where there is a consistent result, the Z factor will be 4 or above, that is pass. Where there is inconsistency, the Z factor will be less than 4, that is fail. Importance. These tests and the documentation are our evidence of the control to ensure the product we make is safe. It also allows us to identify if there is any inconsistency which we need to address to improve the product safety. The results are required to accompany the master style file and should be discussed at the time of handover meeting. Pull tests. The purpose: to ensure the application is button, stud, snap, can withstand a set kilogram of pulling. The recommendations are specified by our customer at 7 kg per single pull, but as a safeguard, XYZ recommends our procedure is pulled at 8 kg. Importance: to ensure the application can withstand the desired amount of stain in normal wearing conditions. 5 pieces randomly must be monitored closely due to product safety. Durability wash. Purpose: this wash test is carried out in the laboratory to ensure the garment construction is robust. The laboratory test highlights any change to the following areas: seam breakdown, fused components, change to color appearance, optical brightener, and fabric handle, effects on accessories, color fastness, pleat sharpness, and anti-wadding. The wash is carried out at 10 degrees higher than the recommended label wash temperature. The laboratory also need a garment reference for the pre-wash inspection and then the after-wash inspection. 3 garments is the minimum requirement. Importance: to ensure all our methods, fabric and trim accessories are suitable to the style and will perform over numerous times of wear. To prevent customer returns and customer dissatisfaction. Cutting department. Laying and cutting area. Rolls segregated and lay as per shrinkage option or shade band separation in case of wash and non-wash program respectively. Relaxation of fabric for stretch and knit at least for 12 hours and fabric relaxation report maintained. Markers check. Marker weigh. All parts are there in the marker. Size ratios as written on the marker. Whether made as per shrinkage option mentioned. Whether any cut line is skipped. Check for any part overlapped. All parts in grain line as per the requirement. Marker length as mentioned. Prior to spreading, fabric quality report, shrinkage report, rolls width to be laid, rolls shrinkage to be laid, rolls shade to be laid. Spreading. Check for the table marks as per the lay length. Check for bowing in the fabric. Check for any narrow goods. Plies alignment at both ends. Check at the edges for leaning. Check for ply tension. Whether plies are counted correctly. Whether required nap direction is followed. Check for end losses. While spreading, all the defects identified in the fabric inspection stage should be marked using a contrast color waste fabric stripe. After cutting, grain direction, notches, ragged cut, selvage, bowing. Ticketing or numbering should be done on the same cutting table. The cut panel having contrast color stripe should be inspected before ticketing for the defects. Fusing procedures. Fusing has to be carried out as per the conditions specified by the interlining supplier every 4 hours. One sample of the fused component has to be sent for washing and peel bond strength testing, and also the testing of the temperature, pressure and time to be carried out. In case of failure on any of these, all the bundles fused in last 4 hours on that machine has to be recalled and refused. During fusing, the fusing operator has to follow work instructions as mentioned in the work instructions sheet for fusing. Testing procedures for fusing. Testing procedure for various tests mentioned above are as follows. Temperature. Using 3 thermopaper strips, take the temperature across the width of the press or machine belt. Check and record the temperature with the recommended speed and fusing time. The press will need to be adjusted if variation of more than 5 degrees Celsius below or 10 degrees Celsius above the recommended fusing temperature is recorded. Time. Check time with a stopwatch for the actual period for which temperature and pressure is applied on the fused composite. Washing. Carry out durability wash test daily on the fused components per fabric per color. Peel bond strength. Use 3 strips of fabric, each 15 by 5 centimeter, placed evenly across the belt. Position the interlining to cover the fabric with no overlap. Set the recommended fusing conditions for bulk production and allow it to cool. Conduct peel bond strength test. Ensure an even bond and acceptable peel bond strength before production. Fusing. All interlining fusing has to be ready finished. The entire interlining pattern has to be aligned with shell pattern 1/8 inch less all around. For order size more than 2000 pieces, for lining, cutting die should be used. Assorting and bundling. The ready to feed bundle should be checked for the defects, whether numbers are correct, actual quantity as compared to mentioned, cut parts check against hard pattern, shade variation in cut parts with same number, fusing defects, etc. Sewing floor. Quality control on the product, packing and stacking should be maintained at the highest level. A full functional traffic light system should be maintained at all times. Statistical process controlling should be implemented for every line to minimize rejections. No garment should be passed with inferior quality, and rectification to be made with immediate effect and documented. Traffic light system. This system is very effective approach in curtailing and discontinuing defected panels and garments with discrepancies from moving in the line. There are 3 colors to identify the progress of the operator and the quality. Green, amber and red bag with the instructions of operation descriptions to be audited. Green. If this color is flagged by the line quality checker on top of a machine, it indicates that the operation is under control and of good standing and could proceed to the next operation or machine. Amber. If this color is flagged, it highlights that the operation produced by the operator is in a tolerance margin and needs close observation from superiors. Red. If the line quality checker has flagged this color on top of a machine, you should halt the machine and the operation immediately and rectify same without any delay and ensure the productivity is not affected. In the same time, the line quality checker must record instruction paper what is in color bag and operation file to follow up, and same quality checker will issue a pink token to the supervisor to rectify same and to follow up in 3 consecutive instances in the same operation and cross-check with the quality assurance person. The roaming quality checker must continue for each and every machine, incorporating the same process in the line, minimum 4 times a day. Each line quality assurance person should have 2 in-process audit stations for 100% components. Check with the defect statistics maintained, which could be analyzed hourly on each operation to rectify prior to assembling garments. Each end line should have a quality assurance audit station performing 100% inspection of garments prior to moving to the next process, and the defects to be maintained in the defect analysis report. No inline and end line checker should have trimmers. Acceptable quality limit audit. Apart from 100% inspection at end line, the QA department should audit the merchandise randomly to ensure the quality standard set by XYZ Exports Private Limited. Each auditor should cover 5 production lines and every hour as per the given acceptable quality level. If the standard is acceptable as per the stipulated table, the goods can be processed for the next operation. However, if the merchandise is not up to the required criteria, total quantity should be returned back to the production line for immediate rectification, and the same auditor should closely monitor until the rectification is complete. Strictly adhere to maintain an AQL level of 1.5 during inline inspections. Random measurement audit. The QA department should inspect measurements of garments randomly covering all styles, colors, and sizes to ensure the merchandise is meeting the required specification before and after wash. Finishing AQL audit. The QA department should inspect packed pieces before it is packed into the cartons on the AQL basis. Pre-final audit. Prior to handing over merchandise for final audit to buyers, the quality control department should do an interim inspection and submit copies of the reports to the General Manager Production and Marketing, Production Manager, and the relevant merchandiser for each purchase order. This is mandatory. Account and accuracy report should be submitted as well. Outgoing quality level. All the external audit reports should be compiled into one final report with the defect penalty points expressed as percentage of total defectives found over the total quantity shipped out for that month. Also, a report of total external audits failed over total external audits faced in that month should also be prepared. Reports. All inspection in production and finishing should be documented daily by using inline reports, and a copy of these reports should be submitted to the relevant merchandiser at least twice a week without fail. The QA department should submit the samples top of production within 3 days of bulk input as per buyer's required size, and shipment samples as per buyer's requirement 1 day before final audit. This should be strictly adhered to. It is mandatory that all line quality supervisors and controllers should patrol their respective lines on a daily basis prior to starting bulk production in the morning to ensure that the line is geared to produce high quality apparels. The following aspects should be taken into awareness: cleanliness of the floor, no garments, dust, stickers, stain, etc. to be on floor. Cleanliness of machines, well cleaned without any dust, oil level and stains on machine to be checked, needles to be checked and should be fluff free and not blunt. Any machine with red flags on, and if mechanic to be questioned. Check for reject garments. No reject garment is to be brought forward from the previous day without being rectified. All reject garments should be rectified on the same day and not to be kept separately inside the line. Quality checkpoints in garment manufacturing process. Students, in this module, we are going to talk about the various checkpoints that need to be considered while manufacturing of the garments in factories. The quality objectives here are to increase the production from the existing level every year. Continuous improvement through productivity, waste elimination, and housekeeping. To make employees multi-skilled through training and development. To maintain and improve work order throughput time. To reduce seconds percentage. Fabric checking. The important points to be considered while fabric checking are: check for fabric repeats, check for fabric shrinkage, 1 meter from each roll sent for wash and shrinkage test. Check for shade variation. Only quality approved fabric to be issued to cutting section with all the reports. Cutting department. Quality check for the marker. 100% inline checking while spreading. 100% checking of cut pieces before they are issued to sewing floor. 100% quality check for fusing. Quality assurance in sewing department. Machine setting to be done based on fabric. All folders, pressure feet and attachments to be available. Sample and buyer comments to be followed for all stitching instruction. Quality check for every operation after batch setting. Notches to be followed during stitching. Bundle system to be followed in parts section. Alterations to be corrected within end line. Ready patterns should be used for markings. All approved threads and labels should be used. All measurements should be as per specification sheets. 100% checking of garment parts at inline check points. 100% checking of garment parts at end line. Inline inspection. Inline inspection is done part wise. Checkpoints for collar. Collar point sharp equal. Collar width as per pattern. Mitring or balancing of fabric. Width and lengthwise. Line balancing for checks, plaids, fusing, stitches per inch, width as per buyer's requirements. Checkpoints for neck band. Neck band to be equal. Width as per pattern. Fusing. Checkpoints for sleeve. Grain line to be followed for diamond placket. Mitring for placket. Raw edges on the inner side. Left and right sleeve placket match. Length and width wise equal and even. Check points for right front placket. Front placket width bigger than button placket. Half centimeter variation always. Both plackets should follow feature line. Mitring length and width wise. Any major problems in the placket? Skipped stitches, uneven width of plackets, broken stitches. Check points for back, sides alignment, inner and top yoke should be aligned equally on all sides. Top stitch on top yoke to be straight. End line or end table inspection. End line inspection is done for assembly operations. Checkpoints: shoulder attaching, equal margin, label attaching, placement, collar attaching, 6 mm or 1/4 inch margin, no raw edges. Size label plus loop label attaching, placement. Checkpoints for sleeve attaching, notches of sleeve and body on front and back to be matched. Shoulder to sleeve 100% line matching. Sleeve margin 5 by 8 inches seam allowance. Body margin 1/4 inch seam allowance. Side seam attaching, overlock and feed off the arm. Checkpoints for bottom hem. Major problems can be roping, twisting, uneven width, broken stitches, raw edges. The process of end table checking also includes the parts in the following sequence along with their major checkpoints: labels, size, sticker cross check, main label placement on the body, size label 6 cm from wearer's left side, wash care labels 4 inch or 10 cm above bottom hem, attached always on left side of the wearer, front placket batch label 3 cm above bottom hem. checkpoints for collar, collar point balancing, pick shape, collar center, mitring of collar with neck band. Checkpoints for front, length and width of both fronts matched. Mitring for front plackets. Buttonhole placket, left men's, right women's. Width of buttonhole placket 1/4 inch is equal to 2.5 centimeter to 3 centimeter. Button placket 1 inch. Checkpoints for sleeve. Both sleeve measurements balancing. Mitring shoulder to sleeve. Shoulder drop on both sides equal. Sleeve placket length and width wise. Cuffs. Pairing should be proper with mitring. Checkpoints for armhole. Neat finishing, no puckering or pleats. Checkpoints for side seam. Feed of the arm operation in which sleeve gets wrinkling and puckering. Sleeve and side seam joint should be even. Checkpoints for bottom hem. Bottom hem near the fronts should be straight up to a distance of 3 inches on both the fronts. Washing, printing, dyeing, embroidery. Sample and buyer instructions to be followed. Embroidery threads to be locked inside. All loose embroidery threads to be trimmed before issue. Printing and embroidery approval to be taken before bulk. There should not be any smudging on the print. Curing temperature and pressure to be followed as per print approval. Print should not develop cracks. Color fastness test to be done for all trims before wash. Same shade to be maintained for dyeing program. Finishing and packaging. Trimming should be done properly. All garments go through thread sucking machine. All garments check critical measurement points before packing. Use poly bags to avoid stains. Garment pressed before pre-checking. Use hot and cold press machine for collars and cuffs. Use fox pins for packing and tie gaps. 100% checking of garments in line while finishing. 100% initial inspection. 100% final inspection, 100% measurement audit, 100% random audit. Final packing audit. Don't use trimmers or any sharp materials. Follow approved trim card for accessories. Packing approved sample to be followed for packing. Box packing as per buyer's specifications. Inspection reports and specification sheet. Inspection formats. There are many formats that are used in an apparel production line. Each of them has been explained with description, how to use, and deliverables. Daily parts inspection report. Description. This check sheet aims at ensuring that only defect-free parts are fed into sewing lines, and hence this checkpoint should be at the beginning of a sewing line. All parts and cut pattern pieces are checked for possible defects. The frequency of their appearance is noted down. With exhaustive list of defects, any defective cut pattern piece is least likely to get passed. How to use. After receiving bundles from cutting, checker will note down the lot number and bundle number. All bundles will be checked. Either 100% inspection method is followed or acceptable quality level method is followed for larger sample size. Frequency of occurrences for each defect is noted down after each process. Name of checker is also noted down. Cumulative quantity of defects is also noted. Deliverables. Detailed report of various defects arising, tracking down the pieces causing major quality concern. Back inspection report. Back inspection check sheet. Description. This check sheet aims at finding out which kind of defects appear at what stage while garment construction. After operations mentioned at left, the defects listed are checked for. The frequency of their appearance is noted down. With exhaustive list of defects, any defective garment is least likely to get passed. It will help track operators or processes which cause majority of the defects. How to use. After the operations are complete, while assembly of garment, the garment is inspected in line for various possible defects. Frequency of occurrences for each defect is noted down after each process. Name of operator doing that operation is also noted down. Cumulative quantity of defects is also noted down. Deliverables. Detailed report of various defects arising. Tracking down the operation and the operators that are causing major quality concerns. Collar attach inspection report. Description. This check sheet aims at finding out which kind of defects appear at what stage while attaching collar. After operations mentioned at left, the defects listed are checked for. The frequency of their appearance is noted down. With exhaustive list of defects, any defective garment is least likely to get passed. It will help track operators or processes which cause majority of the defects. How to use. After each operation is complete, while attaching collar, the collar region is inspected in line for various possible defects. Frequency of occurrences for each defect is noted down after each process. Name of operator doing that operation is also noted. Cumulative quantity of defects is also noted. Deliverables. Detailed report of various defects arising, tracking down the operation and the operators that are causing major quality concerns. Traffic light system for quality check in apparel manufacturing. It is the most effective inspection tool to reduce the defects at source through visual communication. The system flags the problem at source. Immediate corrective action can be taken rather than locating the problem at the end, and allows immediate corrective action rather than all potentially defective products to continue to be manufactured. Quality team can easily identify the root cause of defect in line, thus act at an early stage to improve the quality of the products delivered to the customers. It can also help in reducing the lead time of the garment, thus resulting in on-time delivery of the garments to buyer. It is a visual control for highlighting quality issues in sewing line. Traffic light quality system works in a similar fashion. The transportation traffic light system works. Different color cards are placed in each operator's place. For example, the green represents quality meets the customer standard. Yellow, minor fault has been found and caution is required. Red, quality standard does not meet the customer's standard requirement. Blue, new operator. This can motivate the worker to produce good quality products. It is also an indication of how and which operator is going wrong to the production in charge and quality supervisor. They can monitor from any corner of the floor easily. On the production floor, the action taken are listed in the form of the given table. Traffic light system parts preparation report. Description: this check sheet aims at finding out which kind of defects appear while assembling the parts obtained from parts line. This mainly aims at monitoring end processes. For various parts preparation processes mentioned at left, the defects listed are checked for. With the exhaustive list of defects, any defective part is least likely to get passed to assembly. How to use: after the various intermediate processes to prepare parts for assembly are complete with the assembly of garment, the garment is inspected in line for various possible defects by quality checkers. 3 rounds in a day are taken by the quality checkers, where they randomly pick up a number of pieces from the bundle and check them for defects. Flags are displayed at the worker's machine depending upon the defects in the pieces. Time of round, total defects, and defects per 100 units is also calculated. Name of operator doing that operation is also noted down. Deliverables: detailed report of various defects arising, tracking down the operation and the operators that are causing major quality concerns. Traffic light system is a successful model of quality control, as it gives the responsibility of the quality to worker itself. Final inspection report. Description: this check sheet aims at finding out which kind of defects appear after all the processes, including packing. It checks the final appearance of the product to the vendor. All the aspects of the final appearance is checked in this report. The garment is passed according to the acceptable quality limit being followed that time. How to use: after the entire process of finishing as well as packing is completed, the garment undergoes final inspection audit, and all the aspects are checked in this. 100% inspection takes place of this, that is, every garment's final appearance is checked. The garment is passed according to the AQL being followed that time. Deliverables: detailed report of various defects arising, tracking down the final end of line quality being achieved at that level. Quality audit report. This report talks about the quality audit from technical point of view in an apparel manufacturing factory. The parameters that were taken into consideration were defining of quality control systems of each department and awareness of the same to the quality team of XYZ Apparels. Intra-departmental flow of information, documentation involved at each stage, quality structure, and the skill level of the manpower, product workmanship quality, general quality related conditions. Based on these parameters, there were observations made for each department. We'll see these observations one by one in different departments. Accessories: inappropriate documentation on the type of defects and the reasons of rejection. Acceptance rejection criteria were not defined in the factory. Yarns: inspection testing not evidenced for all the lots received. Acceptance or rejection criteria hence were not defined. Knitting department: work orders issued to the suppliers were found with inadequate information on required diameter, GSM, gauge, etc. It is suggested that the supplier's quality control reports should be taken along with the lots received. Dyed fabric: clear acceptance rejection criteria not defined. Lack of awareness amongst the checkers on type of defects. Fabric defects being carried on till the packing stage. Defect library is needed for the awareness and reference for the new recruits. Fabric inspection methodology: system needs to be devised. All the defects observed by inspector not entered simultaneously during inspection. Measuring tapes used were not calibrated. Training required to the inspectional personnel on interpretation of defects and methodology. Testing: testing procedure methods are not relevant to any of the international standards and found with ad hoc methods. Rubbing fastness results not evidenced for all the lots received. Need to define criteria for acceptance, rejection relevant to the standards. Equipment used for testing and measuring were not calibrated. Training required to the chemists on testing methodology, interpretation of test results. Spreading and cutting department. Absence of record updation for the recut rejection level. Style-wise tolerances have not been defined to the quality assurance persons present in the cutting department. Rejected fabric from the fabric stores not being informed to the spreading department. The layers being laid and then picked up due to rejected fabric. Such fabric needs to be stopped in the fabric department itself so that the time loss can be avoided. For example, style number 17025 layered and taken off due to bowing more than 3 inches. Sewing department. Reference sample could not be found on the floor for the reference of operators, QAs, supervisors. Floor supervisors did not have any production plans. Work instructions, technical specifications were not provided to the operators. Visual defects classification is important to be there on the floor for the ease of understanding of new operators or checkers. Training of QAs will help in bringing all of them at the same platform in terms of acceptable quality level standards, defect categorization and classification, tolerances, etc. Documenting all the defects is an important tool in backtracing of the problems for further improvement. Checkpoints need to be introduced as per the critical operations of the style running in the production lines. Henceforth, the inspection criteria varies as per the style. Broken needle chart does not assign the machine numbers. This is important to backtrace the information and locating the mechanical faults at the earliest. Finishing. Finishing department needs to be strong in terms of the head QA. The presence of only one quality assurance person makes it difficult to cover all quality checkers during random audits in a day, maximum 35 to 40 checkers are covered per day. This doesn't help in getting quality work from the person responsible. Rather, recording the defects at the end of the day, noting them down on the same time will help in getting the accurate information analysis for further improvement. The handling, stains, oil spots observed by quality checkers are being overlooked, many of them handling faults not recorded. Documented evidence of corrective preventive action taken for the defects noticed by QA is not available. Final quality checkers need to be aware of the right inspection methodology. Bulk packing. The defects are not being recorded on the same day. It is suggested that the defects should be recorded there and then and by the same person who has noticed the same. This helps in generating the accurate information for further follow-ups at the company's end. Final inspection table has inadequate lighting and inspection facility. Sampling techniques need to be defined to the checkers, that is, each style only one size is covered for inspection. Inspection reports should specify the lot quantity, size XXL, measurement details not available in the approved specification sheet. Evidence of inspection of the pieces sent for rechecking or rejection is lacking. Garments have been selected from bulk packing and were inspected, and the observations were made which are there displayed on the board. It was found that measurements, waist stretch measurement was found to be -2 inches. The general observations in the factory were material handling at the final stage of inspections need to be improved. Pieces are getting crushed and do not give a neat appearance. Deformed, damaged cartons have been used to transfer the ready packed pieces to bulk packing. Storage at yarn, accessory store and fabric stores needs improvement. The approved and the rejected lots should be segregated and marked for functional ease. Data analysis does not provide evidence for the defects found at various departments with the corrective preventive actions taken on the same at QA department. The data analysis shows the following figures where alteration percentage at inline quality audit stage stands at 7.5%. Final quality control stage 4.3%. Percentage B grain 1.6%. The data given below is as per the auditing agency generated records where no reference was taken from the XYZ Apparel records. Before checking, 8 defects found out of 150 pieces. That amounts to 5.3%. After checking, 9 defects found out of 80 pieces, 11.2%. From final passed, 6 defects found out of 50 pieces, that is 12%. Conclusion: yarn, accessories, fabric, testing laboratory need restructuring in terms of systems, documentation and awareness, training of the manpower for all the quality related aspects related to a fabric. Fabric being the preliminary stage of garment manufacturing is the first and the most critical step towards quality assurance. Awareness to the quality assurance people regarding tolerances, defect classification, defect categorization, AQL standards is very important for the spreading, cutting and production floor. Mrs. XYZ Apparels is following more of a quality control approach than the quality assurance approach, which is evident from the strength of finishing department. Quality assurance system comprising of stronger steps initially and decreasing the same at the final stage is the need of the factory. The overall rejection alteration rates as per the auditing agency are at a considerable stage, which should be of immediate concern to the company. It can be concluded that as per the observations and analysis of auditing agency, the overall quality system of Mrs. XYZ Apparels is worth appreciating, as there is always a scope of improvement. A few steps of quality improvement can further enhance the functionality of the systems, skill level and awareness of manpower, resulting in better product quality and increased customer satisfaction.